Hello, I'm Mike Carter, and along with my fellow knife maker Cliff Fendley, we're going to show you how we make our red and black twist MikeCarta. We use West Systems 105 resin and 206 slow hardener epoxy for our projects. It's super tough, almost indestructible epoxy, but it is rather expensive, about $150 a gallon. So we mix up a little bit at a time, trying not to mix up any more than we need for a given job. This is some we've had sitting on the shelf since last fall, last time we made some MikeCarta. And as you can see, the hardener turned a little bit dark. Normally it's perfectly clear, so apparently it does darken with age even though it's in the can and never been mixed. So we figured it wouldn't hurt on this particular project because we're using red and black materials anyway, so a little more color to it, if it did color it, would not make any difference. We'll stack our pieces on a board, and I cover it with a sheet of wax paper to keep it from sticking to the board. We have about 35-40 strips of 2-inch by 7-inch cotton material here. We're alternating red, black, and gray colors. We found this works best as a two-man operation. Here you see Cliff saturates each piece in an aluminum pan and then lays it on our board, where I will squeegee it down and remove any excess epoxy and any air bubbles. Make sure we have it nice and flat and thoroughly saturated. The West Systems epoxy is incredibly strong and durable, some of the toughest stuff that we've ever found to make a knife handle out of. However, it is very expensive at about $150 per gallon. If you're wanting common red or white or green or camo MikeCarta, really you can buy it commercially cheaper than you can make it if you're using this epoxy anyway. We only make our own MikeCarta when we want something that's a unique design or a unique color that's not available commercially. What we're going for here is a solid piece. It should be about 2 inches wide, about 1 inch thick, and about 8.5 or 9 inches long. This should give me 2 solid knife handles. As you can see, as I squeegee down each piece, I'll take any excess and wipe it onto the next piece that I hand Cliff and put in the pan. And we've mixed up a little more epoxy when we're about halfway through our stack here. Again, we're just trying to not mix up too much ahead of time because it does have a limited working time. It's about 45 to 50 degrees in our shop today, so we've got a good 30 minutes working time before it starts to set. At a higher temperature, it will set much faster. Now, there are cheaper resins that you can use. I don't know how they compare, but we know the West Systems, we've done extensive testing with this, and it's literally bulletproof stuff. And here's our last piece going onto our stack. Now I'm going to take the whole stack and start to twist it. As I do this, it's going to wring out a lot of excess epoxy. And I have a pan on the floor to catch this waste as it drips off of it. I'm twisting it real tight, trying to smooth out any air pockets. This needs to be done quickly. As I said, it's a cool day, it's cool in the shop, so we have a little extra time. But once this starts to cure, it sets off a chemical process, and this will literally become too hot to hold even with gloves. It will generate a tremendous amount of heat. But as it is today, it's still cool, and I'm having no problem twisting it. Now we've got it twisted nice and tight. We're going to put it into a freezer bag. And then we're going to put our freezer bag into a custom form that we've made from pieces of angle iron. And we have an iron top that goes on it. This will be pressed down with C-clamps, so that really compresses everything really tight and forms it to the square shape of our custom form here. As you compress it, it will burst the freezer bag that we put it in, and so you will have the excess epoxy squeezing out of it and running off. Again, you want a catch pan underneath it to catch this. But here you see it clamped up, ready to cure. We let it cure overnight, and the next day we come back and unclamp it to see what we have. We did spray down all parts of our iron form with WD-40 to act as a release agent and help keep things from sticking to the form itself. Plastic freezer bag will tear away very easily and leave you a nice clean finished piece.
Which is what the goal of those presses were. Yep.
inches wide, 1 inch thick, and a good 9 inches usable, 9.5 inches. Perfect. Seems like it really pressed down nice and solid. Here's where I cut the end pieces off that are pretty much scrap anyway, but you can see the layers in the end, and you can also see where I ground on top a little bit to show you the contrast that we'll get in the finished knife handle. Thanks for watching.